Okay, so I know I've been slacking on doing these confessionals. I've been trying to keep y'all updated in the T chat as much as I can, but this game's moving quick, and it's just hard to find 20 minutes to sit down and film a confessional where something isn't happening on my phone involving the game. Um, so the last time I left y'all, I was about to go do some edits for the Survivor Ambassadors Challenge. Um, Ironically, we did, I believe you've done this challenge most of your seasons where it involves some kind of doing an edit. Excuse me. And when you did this challenge in season two, I sat out of it because I was on exile, I believe. Another one of the ways that you rigged season two for me, obviously. I was on exile, and I was joining whichever tribe lost, and you had four tribes of four, and the tribe that lost was Darius, Bennett, Charlie, and Justin. And on paper, that tribe looked like it should have dominated every challenge in the game, but none of them could do an edit to save their life. Um, and that was the only challenge they lost. Poor Bennett, he got screwed in that season. Um, but I came into that tribe, and I would have been absolutely useless at this challenge in season two. I couldn't do an edit to save my life either. The extent of my editing skills was editing a photo on an iPhone and adding some text to it. Um, but for the Celestial Isles, I learned how to use Photoshop because I wanted to have edits for that game. And that apparently came in handy because I was the only one who could both read and do an edit on my tribe. Megan did one that looked actually pretty good. I think it would have gotten just as many points as any of the other ones. But she didn't label anything on it, and nobody noticed it until like 4 o'clock in the morning when nobody was up to fix it except for me. So I ended up having to do this entire challenge pretty much by myself for my tribe of seven. Once again, I've put a tribe on my back and carried them through the mud through a challenge, but it kept me from going to tribal, kept me from having to really show my hand. We won that challenge pretty decisively. We got 540 out of 600 points, and then Lombok got 467, and Bunikin got 459. They were only 8 points apart, so it feels good to know that I performed that well in that challenge. I don't need to be the one performing that well in these challenges, but it is what it is. At this point in the game, I just got to be winning challenges to keep my tribe from going to tribal. Uh, yeah, looking at this tribe, the more I think about it, at this point in the game, it was Megan, myself, Coco, Abby, Jordan, Darius, and Katie. And I had said a few things about that tribe in my last confessional, just in terms of like, I don't think Megan's in any danger. I would have been targeting Jordan. Um, but looking at it, honestly, if we had gone to this tribal, um, I do think Megan would have gone here. Um, because I don't want to have to show my hand to Abby. And I'm pretty sure Abby has been voting with Jordan um, and Coco. So I really didn't want to have to be the one who was like, hey, Abby, we're going to take out one of your allies when none of us really have been working with Megan, and she would have been the easy one to pick out there. I know that seems probably like bad strategy because it leaves us at a 3-3. And Megan is actually a pretty decent challenge competitor. But I think Coco goes with me, and Abby probably goes with me in that 3-3 to get rid of Jordan, had that been a situation that happened. Thankfully, it wasn't. Thankfully, we were spared this tribal, but I'm kind of glad we didn't have to go there. Getting rid of Megan at that point is probably not bad for my game, considering what happens later, but it is what it is, once again. We also got a new pinned tweet. This was the photo of the tribe swap with the 3 diamond emojis on it. And when I had gone to Emoji Cove, I believe that I told you that I believed the Diamonds of Decisions was going to involve a tribe swap, and the person who chose this making the decision as to who got which tribe. And as it turns out, I was correct. I'm very happy with my decision to take the detonator and get that gold idol rather than picking this tribe, especially considering what happens. But yeah, these pinned tweets seem to have something to do with the emoji cove every time they've come up, I believe. There might be one instance that it really didn't. I don't remember. It's in my notes somewhere. Anyway, the person who found this was Darius. He found the rat emoji, the fifth emoji. As of this point, it's now, I believe we're on day 11 right now when I'm filming this, even though we're doing confessionals for like day 6. But as of now, I believe I have 5 of the 6 emojis, or 6 of the 7 emojis that have been released, narrowed down to who has them and who took what when. The only one I'm missing is the top hat, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So we knew a tribe swap was coming after this tribe, or after this challenge, after this tribal, which would have been incentive for me to get rid of Megan had we gone to tribal, because I knew that we would have been switching things up, and I wouldn't have been put in that 3-3 situation where I had to like get Abby to come with me. Boonikin goes to their first challenge, or goodness gracious, it is late in the morning, guys. Boonikin goes to their first tribal as a tribe. We also had the first Boonikins of the season going to tribal. Brian I, Tyler, Brian M, and Brady. I had talked about how I wasn't sure Brady was going to stick with them, but at the end of the day, Devin and Angie are just too cataclysmic to exist on the same swap tribe together. There's only 7 of them, and they're both just kind of firecrackers who will go off, and them targeting each other makes perfect sense to me. The 4 Boonikin plus Devin voted for Angie. Amanda did something, who knows. I don't even remember what the vote went to. I should probably be adding that to my notes. But Angie goes out 5-1-1. Not exactly ideal for my game. Darius didn't seem to be that upset about it because he seemed to believe that they would be targeted as a duo, which is 100% true. Angie potentially would have worked with me, so I'm actually a little bit sad to see her go. Between her and Devin, it's a hard call. After the fact, I think Angie going is probably better for me. I think Devin is a little bit more stable than Angie. Like, I'm calling Devin stable. You know Angie is unstable. I think Devin's just a little bit more of a stable ally for me to work with. I know that he's going to try to play the middle, but, like, Angie is such a wild card. I don't know what I can't fathom having to work with her. Like, having watched her play my season and, like, dominate a good portion of it, I'm not sure how I work with her as a logical person. So I guess I'm fine with her going. I think there would have been better people to leave in this spot for me. Just like randoms, like a Kirsten or a Gavin, just people that I'm not sure about. But Angie going out, I guess, isn't the worst. It's definitely not the worst case scenario. So I guess we can take what we can get. Yeah, we knew we were getting a tribe swap. And when it comes down, we're going to go ahead and move on to episode 6 because episode 5 was kind of slow for me. I'm going to combine these two, by the way, episode 5 and episode 6, because episode 5 was kind of a dud, but episode 6 is where the shit hits the fan. So we get this tribe swap, right? And as soon as I see that we're swapping into 2 tribes of 10 and somebody handpicked the tribes, my wheels start turning. Because earlier in the day, Darius had approached me in our one-on-one chat, and he had said, who do you think are the biggest threats to our game? And I didn't want to name names specifically, but I knew what he was hinting at, and I definitely wanted to give him the answer that he wanted to hear. I believe I told him something along the lines of the people who are going to play middle of the road, right? The the less obvious threats, ideally like the Coles and the Alexes of the world. Cole not so much in this season because he's a winner, but even still, like kind of. But the Coles and Alexes of the world, the people who just kind of like end up slipping to the end, the final five, final four, every single season they play because they're so under the radar and they're just around to get rid of the threats like the Mees and the Nuges. And then all of a sudden they're sitting at Final Tribal and we're pissed at them because they didn't talk to us for 36 hours. Uh, that's another bitter story. But um, he seemed to agree, and he threw out two names to me. He threw out Alex and Brian I, and he said, "Would you vote out these people pre-merge if it came down to it?" And I said, "Yeah, that's kind of those are the types of people that I'm talking about." I didn't want to specifically say, "Yes, I will target those two people." But yes, those are the kind of people that I look to target around this time because they're the ones who are going, like, if they make merge, nobody's coming after them because there's a me that's around and people are going to be taking shots at me and using those people to take shots at me. Um, Ironically, I think it'd be dumb for those people to take a shot at me because, again, we've covered this, but people are always going to be taking shots at me. So the longer you keep me around, the more likely it is that somebody's going to take a shot at me instead of taking a shot at you. But I digress. So we get to these two new tribes, and I had already been suspicious that Darius had been the one to break it up because he had approached me specifically and asked me specifically about specific people and would I get rid of them. And then I saw the first tribe that was announced. He announced the new Boonikin first. Um, and as soon as I saw that myself and Darius and Alex and Brian I were not on that tribe, I knew that Darius had been the one who had set it up. Like 100%, there was no doubt in my mind. I didn't even bother like approaching him and asking him. I literally just went to him and was like, "You set the tribes up, huh?" Like, yes, you did. And he confirmed it to me. He didn't even bother. He was like, "Yeah, I wanted to give us options," and I do think that this tribe looks really good. It's not the one that I would have put together. I would have potentially swapped out a Megan and an Alex for probably like a Kirsten and a Gavin. People who I think would be mounting an offensive against me on the other side. I would have put them with me. I would have intentionally tried to throw that challenge. If I was picking tribes, I'm going to pick tribes with the intention of getting rid of people. I'm not going to try to pick, like Darius seemed to pick a tribe where he had obvious targets, but I don't know that he had the capital to get rid of them. Obviously, he didn't. Once we get to the outcome of these two tribals, but I don't think he's at the end of the day, he told me that Alexandra was the one who helped him set up these tribes, and I think that him trusting her came back to bite him in the ass, 100%. I think he thought that she would take him to the end again, and that she would give him another easy win, and he was so blinded because he wanted to believe that, right? It's always easier for somebody to believe something when they want to believe it. When you want to trust somebody, you look to trust that person. When you want to believe somebody is lying to you, you believe they're lying to you until you have 100% concrete proof that they are telling the truth. And Darius was so blinded by the fact that Alexandra took him to the end in season 2 that he thought she would do it again. And he thought she would lose to her, or lose to him again. And that's not how this was going to play out. She had zero intention of going to the end with me or Darius. She was not about to lose to a huge threat like she did in season 2. And him sharing that much information with her caught up to Darius so quickly. I went to bed with a general idea that Megan and Alex were supposed to be the targets. When I woke up, all hell had broken loose on this tribe. Oh, we lost a challenge. There was a challenge in there somewhere. Oh, I guess I've just kind of been jumping around a little bit. Um, that's what happens when you film Confessionals like 3 days late. But anyway, so yeah, we have these two new tribes. Malcolm introduces this new twist, the all or nothing twist, and this is some absolute bullshit. Because the losing tribe, he claims it's because we've been doing a three tribe format up to this point, and the two winning tribes have been safe, and to to balance it out, I guess now that we're in a two tribe format, the losing tribe has to attend two tribal councils. It's the all or nothing twist, um, and this twist is going until further notice. Uh, and despite Darius's best efforts to put in a challenge beast tribe, which somehow includes Alexandra and Coco, I don't know what he was thinking. Um, Love them, but they're not exactly challenge monsters. Um, Boonikin wins the challenge. The new Boonikin wins the challenge. A really close challenge. It came down to like one puzzle. We just needed any of our people to finish one of the two puzzles that they hadn't finished yet, and we would have won that challenge. It's unfortunate because this is my first tribal of the game, and we're going to two basically back to back in a span of 30 minutes. We will vote out two people, and I have two idols, and I've got a couple people over here that I just know are coming after me. Because you got to go after somebody at this point. Like, I honestly don't think that an Alex or a Megan are really coming after me at this point, unless we end up in this tribe configuration where this is just kind of like that's the person they have to take the shot at. Like Alexandra, she was coming after me days ago. Like we knew that, but I don't think an Alex or a Megan really does that unless they're in this position. So when I wake up, I have Megan in my DMs telling me, I know I'm getting votes tonight. And I was like, oh, well, awesome. Somebody definitely leaked the plan. Don't know why I'm shocked at Survivor. I have a chat with Coco and Brady and Darius. It was our season 2 chat, because we figured out we couldn't trust Alexandra. Shocker. In our old season 2 chat. And we have decided to, I think at this point the target flipped for this vote so many times. Like we went back and forth because Brady is talking to everybody. Brady is so scary on this tribe. Like I'm actually really glad that we have a lot of things to talk about in the episode 7 confessional that we're going to get to after people go home tonight. But as for like this confessional, this is where I really started to notice that like Brady is playing super hard. Like he told me he was, and it's I don't want to short sell myself and be like, oh, I didn't even realize that Brady was playing. But like Brady is good with a lot of people. Like I think that's what really shocked me the most is like I don't know why it shocked me the most because he did this in TCI as well. Like Brady is good with a lot of people. A lot of people really trust Brady because Brady has been passing information back and forth to them, and much like a Devin kind of honestly, Brady is playing the middle in this group. He definitely has a relationship with everybody on this tribe, and it's probably stronger than a lot of other relationships. And I think that's a lot of what is keeping him safe right now. But the fact is, it's like it's a delicate balancing act, and at some point he's gonna have to pick a side because if he doesn't, he's gonna get picked off because of it. He's gonna end up doing exactly what Alexandra and Darius ended up doing at this Devil Tribal, where they got caught, and once they got caught with their pants down, everybody decided to cut their balls off, and Brady better protect his balls, because. I'm keeping him safe right now. Coco's keeping him safe right now, but Katie and Tyler are not pleased with him for voting out Darius. We had our 6. We all got okay. I haven't yet talked about Brian I on this tribe. He wasn't wrong, is the thing. Like He felt like he was on the bottom, probably because he was on the bottom of our Boonikin group. But here's the thing. Like, yes, Darius approached me to vote out people like Brian, I, and Alex in this exact scenario. And yes, I said I would do it. But I was never coming after Brian at this point. I think Darius was, but nobody else was coming after Brian at this point. Like, Darius threw out Brian to me in our one on one as soon as we lost the challenge, and we kind of shifted away from that because I wasn't prepared to make the first strike at Boonikin. Um, so Darius definitely like had plans, and Brian was right to be paranoid about Darius. But Brian played himself into being on the bottom on this tribe. Like it's not. He was on the bottom of our Boonikin tribe, but he is not on the bottom of this new Lombok tribe. Like had he voted with us against Megan and Alexandra, he would have been fine because there would have been two automatic more targets like in front of him. He would have been absolutely fine. Um, but he exposed himself on that first vote when we all knew Coco voted with the five of us Boonikin, me, Brady, Darius, me, Brady, Darius, Katie, and Tyler voted together, and Coco is with me 100%. Um, that six voted together, and Brian exposed himself. And at that next vote, even though Brady flipped, like I said, Brady's playing the middle on this tribe. He was good. And Brady told me Brady told me after the first vote, after Alexandra went, he told me he trusted five of our six people, and he would explain after the vote. So I was kind of expecting Darius to go home. I was praying when those first when the votes came out in the second tribal that it wasn't my name and it was Darius's that came out because I knew if it was my name, I was gone. I knew if it was Darius's name, he was probably gone too. Because Brady told me he didn't trust everybody in that group. So I'm really hoping that Brady is brought back into the fold. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. It's gotten we've zigged and zagged through this tribal. I haven't actually gone in chronological order. But this is kind of like thoughts as they're coming to me. Yeah, I don't know what the plan was on that first vote. That's what doesn't get me about Brian's move, right? Because he voted with Alexandra, Megan, and Alex in that first tribal, but the votes weren't together. There was 2 votes for Darius, 2 votes for me, and 6 votes for Alexandra. So like if Brian was going to expose himself, I don't understand why he chose to do it knowing that it wasn't like what was the plan there? Did Alex tell Alexandra that he would play the idol on her or something? Like I don't understand the logic there. I don't get it. Like why would you split that? For people like Alex and like Alex, I guess it kind of makes a little bit of sense. I don't know. Okay, I know Alexandra was one of the votes for me. I don't know which one of Brian, Alex, and Megan were the other vote against me at that first tribal. I don't particularly care at this point because they all actively voted against people I'm working with, right? Like the fact that they wrote down my name as opposed to Darius's name doesn't really bother me because you're coming for my side, right? Effectively, that's what we're going to end up saying. But why would Brian? Why does Brian expose himself, knowing that nobody's going home, right? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Because he doesn't gain anything. I guess he gains the trust of Alex and Megan. But it doesn't put him in a good spot. He's not going out any later now than if he had just stuck with the Boonikin group. And at least if he sticks with the Boonikin group, he can preach loyalty. But like, who's working with him now? He exposed himself. We all know what happened, and he didn't get anything out of it. He got rid of Darius, who was, I guess, the one targeting him. So I guess it worked out for him. Like, he got what he wanted in that Darius went, but he spent so much to get it done at the final 19, final 20. Like, I don't understand it. I'd love to talk to him about it. I'd love to like see his version of this video confessional, like the other side of it, because I'm so curious as to what exactly was going through his mind. Brady told him something. He might have thought they had Brady and Coco, maybe, because I know both of those people, Brady and Coco, were talking to Alexandra, and like I guess by extension Alex and Megan, and by extension through that Brian. So maybe that's where they thought the 6 was, but I still don't understand why there were 2 votes for Darius and 2 votes for me, because that doesn't make any sense. They would have all needed to vote together because they knew that me and Katie and Tyler and Darius were going to vote together, because Katie and Tyler weren't talking to these people as far as I know. But even if they were, Tyler and Katie aren't the kind of people who are just going to like absolutely snake somebody and be like, we're going to do this, and end up doing the exact same, like opposite thing. So yeah, I'd really love to know what happened at that first tribal, because that one makes no sense to me. It might just boil down to like everybody's playing super hard, and it kind of caught up to a couple people who got left out of the loop, and they ended up just like writing down a name because they didn't know what happened. So I guess confusion is the only obvious answer there. But yeah, I have no clue what happened there. Alex did play the bronze idol on Brian I, which leads me to believe that Alex and Brian I voted together, and I do believe that they would have voted against Darius. I believe that pretty strongly, which would leave Alexandra and Megan as the 2 votes for me, which is fine. Megan coming after me, it doesn't scare me too much. Looking at the other tribe, I don't think she has too many absolute allies who would come after me with her. It really depends on when we merge. These sides are going to be so interesting when merge happens. But yeah, Alex played the bronze idol on Brian I. It's kind of nice to lock down where that is, eliminate that idol out of existence. I believe that I still think Gavin or Bella have the original Wakatobi idol. Abby has the original Lombok idol. I have original Boonikin. I have the Detonator. Emoji Cove. I have those all nailed down. Identity Theft was taken first. I just don't know who it was taken by. My guess would be Bella. Just looking at it, that's my like original assumption. The Fast Forward was taken second by Gavin. The Detonator was taken third by me. The Poison Ivy was taken fourth by Alex. Diamonds of Decision was taken fifth by Darius. I don't know the owl. I don't know who got it, and I don't know what they took. It's not a rope, though. And then I know this is kind of moving on a little bit into episode 7, but here's a little bit. Let's do this. Let's do a little bit of spoilers in this last minute of this confessional. Next episode, we're going to be talking about Brian getting the football emoji, going to Emoji Cove, what he took. Both my idols are now exposed to at least half my tribe, more than likely 6 out of 8 of my tribe, and before the day is over, it will probably be all 8 of my tribe members at my hand. My final 8 deal with Cole is still alive and well, and we've had a good little conversation tonight that I do believe was beneficial to me. I think he's just as wary of me as ever, but I think that I laid some good groundwork tonight. Brady is sketched out by me. Coco is doing damage control for me. Things are moving right now. So, I will come back for an episode 7 confessional. We'll talk about the challenge and everything that I've just kind of spoiled a little bit of right now. But I hope that was a good little breakdown of what happened. We do have one more thing to do. Um, Malcolm had asked me some questions in DMs right before the challenge happened, and I was not at home, unfortunately, to answer them in a confessional. So let me see if I can get some of those questions real quick. All right, video confessional questions. During your time on the Boonican tribe, you said you trusted Brady on that tribe the most. As of now, on day 10, how is the trust level with you and Brady now? At the time this question was asked, 9 out of 10 because he flipped and he got rid of Darius. But I still think he trusts me, and I don't think he would have flipped if the vote had been going against me. As of right now in the game, 8 out of 10, which is probably a really high answer given a lot of what I'm going to talk about next confessional. And send me this again tomorrow right after Tribal, so I remember to answer this question in my episode 7 confessional because the answer is very different. But yeah, 9 out of 10, even though he flipped on me, because he told me beforehand, like, I don't trust people. He kind of gave me a heads up without actively telling me. He wanted to tell me. So I think Brady actually wants to work with me. I don't think he trusted Darius. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, your goal is for Lombok to win immunity tonight, but in the event that you guys lose again, have you thought about which 2 players on this tribe you would like to see leave the game next? I had actually given this a lot of thought, and spoiler alert, for the episode 7 confessional, we did win immunity, but I had thought about who I wanted to see go if we had lost and we had to go to another Devil Tribal. And honestly, it's probably Megan has to be one of them. 100%. Megan needs to go. If we go, Megan is one of the 2 boots, or I am one of the 2 boots in my mind. That is the only way that works. She has to go. The other spot is where it gets a little bit tricky because Coco doesn't want to ditch Alex this early. And Coco is also not going to want to ditch Brady this early. And in order to give Coco what she wants, and in order to give me what I want, that means Brian I has to be the one who goes. So in my ideal world, had Lombok lost the immunity challenge tonight, or last night, I guess, my ideal boots would have been Brian I and then Megan. In that order. I think that cuts off Alex and forces him to work with me via Coco, and I think Megan is just an unfortunate casualty of circumstance there. But those are the 2 people that I wanted to go in that situation, because I want to make sure I keep Coco locked. I want to make sure that I am giving her what she wants as much as I'm taking what I want out of that alliance. Gotta scroll back to find this question. At last night's Tribal Council, Alex decided to play the Bronze Idol on Brian I. Did this surprise you? It kind of surprised me that he played it on Brian. I don't know if he was just watching Spec Squad because Alex is in it, but he doesn't talk in it at all. And Brian was in there, convinced that he was going. I can see why he would think so because he put himself in a real shit position, but it was his own fault. And I knew they were working together. I knew that they had gotten close because of the way that the votes fell. So I guess I'm not really surprised. But I'm kind of shocked that in that position, Alex didn't play it on himself. Honestly. I would have played it on myself there if I had been in Alex's position. Sorry, Brian, but if one of us is going to stay, I want to make sure it's me. Number 4. A lot of players on the opposing Boonican tribe are very vocal in the main chat and seem to have it out for you for some reason. What do you make of this? Do you think they are just joking with you, or do you think they really want you gone? Are there any people on the opposing tribe that you still feel you can work with in the future? This is something we haven't really talked about in this confessional, but it does really kind of suck for me. My name, we can't go 12 hours without my name being brought up in the main chat about Malcolm rigging for me, or Ryan's going to win this next challenge, or I hope I'm on Ryan's tribe when we swap again, or blah, 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 blah. My name is out there. it is what it is. It's pretty much like this in every game at this point. This one's to an extreme. Um, but there's nothing I can do about it. Like even if I start throwing challenges at this point, even if I'm like actively doing god awful in challenges at this point, people are still going to target me for the exact same reason. It's not going to change anything. So at this point, I might as well win the challenges and win immunity. If I'm going to have this target on my back, I might as well get to merge with it. What do I make of this? Honestly, I think it's a combination of things. I think it's a little bit of my reputation catching up to me. I think it's a little bit of the fact that you and I are best friends, and it's just easy for people to say it because they're insecure about their own standing with you. And I do think that I'm a threat in this game, quite honestly, point blank. Like, yeah, I'm fucking crushing these challenges. I am dominating in them. I've beaten entire tribes in single challenges by myself multiple times. Yeah, if you're going to be talking about somebody who's a threat in this game, it's me because I am. If y'all let me go deep, especially with some of the allies that I'm starting to gather, yeah, I will win this game. It's a little bit early to be saying that, especially given kind of what happened tonight, and we'll talk about that in episode 7. But yeah, at this point, I honestly do think that I'm the player to beat. I think that if you're going to be targeting somebody because they're going to beat you in the end, I think right now it's me. I think, honestly, if we were to go to a final tribal council right now, I think I get the jury votes because I think that people would say that I have played the hardest, I have played the best game at this point. So that's what I make of this. Do you think they're just joking, or do you think they really want you gone? I think it's a combination. Again, I think it's a little bit of both. People like Gavin, I think they're trying to pass it off as just joking, but I do think that it veils a little bit of Gavin and Kirsten coming after me. I do think Gavin and Kirsten are a duo right now, just by the way. I do think they're a little bit coming after me. Honestly, I don't think Mike is. I think Mike is playing into the joke because that's what Mike does. Amanda, again, Abby, again, I think they're just kind of playing into the joke. Bella, I have no read on. The more I've talked to her a little bit more. I talked to her last night. She's really hard to get a read on. I see why she's such a good player, but when you put her up against somebody like me, like, I don't need that. I talked a lot about wanting to work with Bella because she's such a big threat. But honestly, like, she's so hard to get a read on that I don't want to deal with that. She sketches me out, to be 100% completely honest. I think she does actually believe that I am a huge threat, and I don't think she's been very vocal about it in the main chat because she doesn't want me to think that I'm coming after her when the rest of her tribe is. But honestly, I do believe that she is coming after me. Whereas, like, I don't think Abby and Amanda are actively coming after me. I think Brian M. would come after me if he was, like, given the opportunity. I don't know if he actively is. I think he kind of falls more in the Mike camp. And Cole is one of those people who didn't say anything about it, but he's actively working with me. We have our final 8 deal. I don't think Cole's going to go against that right now. I just really don't. Maybe once we got deeper and situations changed, Cole might go against that final 8 deal. But at this point, I don't think Cole intends to go against it. Are there any people on the opposing tribe that you still feel like you can work with in the future? Yes, Abby, Amanda, Cole, Devin, Mike. Potentially Jordan in the right circumstances. Possibly not. He's probably got Gavin and Kirsten probably have their hooks in him. But yeah, all those people I do think would work with me in a given like swap or merge if we got there. Last question that you wanted to ask me. You received 2 votes during the tribal council. Alexandra left. Did this surprise you? Who do you think the 2 players that voted for you were? I've kind of already talked about this a lot. No, it did not surprise me that I got a vote. It did surprise me that I got 2. To my knowledge, it was supposed to be a 6-3-1. So I'm not sure which one of those 3 changed it to be a 6-2-2. Which plays into that second question. Who do you think are the 2 players that voted for you? I do believe Alexandra voted for me 100%. And I do lean towards Megan just because I think Brian and Alex actively think Darius was coming for them super hard because he was, and I don't see the point in lying to me about it. I guess I do, actually. I would see the point in lying to me about it. But it doesn't bother me. Again, like, I'm not worked up about it because it's not... They were coming if they were willing to vote against Darius at that tribal council, they would have been willing to vote against me at the next tribal council. In my mind, like you voting for Darius or you voting for me at that point is irrelevant. You voted against one of us, and at that point, you are the enemy, which is exactly what I intend to spew to my alliance because they are the enemy, and I want to make sure that they remain the enemy and not me. So yeah, I don't particularly care. I'll know when the voting chart comes out for the season, but I do know for a fact that Alexandra, Alex, Megan, and Brian and I were the 4 votes who were not against Alexandra at that tribal council. So we'll get into kind of what happened on day 10 in my next confessional. Once we figure out what happens at the tribal councils, the 2 tribal councils that I am thankfully not attending, spoiler alert, on day 11. And we also have a tribe swap because you changed the header again, and you can play coy with me all you want, but I pay way too much attention for you to pull that shit by me. So this game has changed drastically even since the point that I'm about to cut off in this confessional, but it wouldn't be fun if I wasn't put in these crazy situations. It wouldn't be fun for me to play this game. It's so much fun to constantly just be thrown curveball after curveball after curveball, and you just got to adapt. That's all it is. You get information, and you have to choose what to do with that information. And it's a guessing game every time. Do I make the right call? And if I don't make the right call, how do I fix it down the line to make sure that it doesn't end my game? That's what I love about it. So I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy I'm still here. I survived my first 2 tribal councils. Darius went home literally of his own hand. He handpicked his elimination. You can't ask for better TV. This All-Star season has 100% delivered, and we're not even like we're like halfway through the pre-merge at this point. So, hats off to you. Kudos. Top hats off to you. You've put together a great cast and a great season. I'm already enjoying it. Even if I get robbed, it was an honor and a pleasure. So, can't wait to dive into some episode 7 with you guys because it got even crazier then. So I will see you after we figure out who the new Boonican tribe decides to double boot tonight.